a consultant. I work from home. It's 2 o'clock. Made my shorts and my t-shirt, red coat. Tony Martin was supposed to be here today to do the presentation. He works for Accelerator. I do not. He calls me and says, "Can you fill in?" So this is his presentation with my picture on it. I tried to put some stuff in it. So please be patient with me. And also, I am a developer. I'm not a marketing person. I don't work for Accelerator. I don't have all the answers about their strategy and their competitive position and all other stuff. I just use it to write applications. That's what I do. So any questions you have about writing with the application or things like that, I'm more than happy to answer. Or questions about strategy and making money with it and all other stuff, send them to Tony.
Can everybody in the back hear?
Oh, I'm sorry.
A little bit louder.
I'm going to use the mic.
I'll try this. How's that? Did you hear? Did you hear that? All right, I'll start it. Is it on?
No, I heard you said at the beginning.
Is it on?
Yeah.
So we're going to briefly kind of go over the architecture, talk about what tools are available, the IDE.
He's going to turn up the volume just a little bit.
Hey, just hold the mic close to your mouth.
Hello? How's
There you
that?
go.
Okay, thanks. Like I said, I'm just a developer. I don't do this stuff.
Doing fine.
Thank you. We're going to talk about the architecture, development resources that are available, project structure. I'll try and do some demos. I had some problem getting network connectivity, so I don't know how well the demos are going to go. About me, like I said, I've been working with Accelerator for about a year now. I have written applications on iOS, iPad, Android using the technology. I'm halfway done with a book on writing iPad applications using Titanium Accelerator. I am a government contractor, surprisingly, and that's actually where I got the opportunity to learn about Accelerator, writing a mobile application for the government. Okay. The basic pitch on Accelerator is that if you know JavaScript and you want to write on multiple platforms, you can write in JavaScript, compile with Accelerator, and you will get access to the native controls. So what does that mean? That means you will get a you will get a table view that's a real table view. You will not get a table view rendered inside an HTML page. You will not get how there's jQuery mobile or all those other JavaScript libraries that render images and render controls to make it look like it's a real app. With Titanium, it is actually a real control on Windows. I mean, not on Windows, on Android and on Objective-C. It is open source. You can go download it. They do charge for some things. So I will just kind of tell you, don't throw things at me. If you go to the website and you download, you will get access to the IDE without debugging in it. So that's been a lot of chatter about it, but you will get access to an IDE. You will get access to support. But that is not, there's also paid support that's provided, there's consulting service, and there's other things. A lot more information is on the website, and it is tiered. So I think there's like an indie for small organizations, kind of professional for middle, and then there's like a higher level enterprise that is available also. This is kind of at a high level really what it does. So as I said, you write in, I'm going to focus on mobile because that's really what I do, but you can write in Ruby and Python also. But you write your application in Objective-C. You write your application in JavaScript. You write your application in JavaScript. The Titanium framework provides libraries right across here for the user interface for desktop and additional modules that they provide for you. And then the kind of, what was the quote that the earlier guy said, the secret sauce that's in the middle is this bridge to the specific operating system. And basically what happens is when this whole thing's all compiled up, the JavaScript calls go across the bridge to make native calls based on the platform. That's how it works. No, here we go, went the right way once. These are the basic features that you get. We've already talked about the native user experience. But they do give you access to all the fun things that you want on the device. So you get the camera, you get the accelerometer, you get the video, all that stuff that they provide access to directly through the JavaScript API calls. There are some analytics that are there, but it's kind of tiered. You get some stuff for free. If you pay more, you get more. That's kind of their model. We get you in, and then you pay a little bit more if you want extra things. They do provide some interesting plugins, like out of the box. You get a Facebook plugin that makes it very easy to connect to Facebook, very easy to connect to Yahoo. They have reverse geolocation. A lot of the things that everyone thinks of today when they get a mobile app. When I have a mobile app, I want geolocation, right? When I have a mobile app, I want access to the camera. When I have a mobile app, I want access to video. All that stuff is available to you if you just basically understand JavaScript. Okay. I'll skip that because that's his. All right, these are kind of the big news that has happened lately. Wunderlist. That application, I think it's one of the highest downloaded applications on the App Store, written using Appcelerator. There's a desktop version, there's an Android version, there's an iOS version. It's all written in Appcelerator. GitGlue's on Android. For those of you who don't know what it is, I hope no one here worked for them, but it's kind of like this check-in to what I'm doing now. So I'm watching a TV show, I check in. Anyone else who's watching a TV show knows that I'm watching a TV show now. That's GitGlue is written with Appcelerator. These are some companies that actually have used the technology in-house. So the big one that just recently came out was that NBC released this iPad application that was written completely in Appcelerator. eBay, PayPal, these other names here, they all use this technology also. I specifically asked Tony about this today, so we don't get into the religious battle of the PhoneGap versus Appcelerator versus native versus whatever. And this is also my opinion too. My opinion, when I actually started mobile development, I wrote something in Objective-C. I wrote something using the Android SDK. I have used PhoneGap. Appcelerator just worked for me. And so when I get those discussions or those tweets and those little battles that go on about it, my response always is the same. Do your analysis of the tool, and whatever works best for you, that's the tool you use. Doesn't have to be right or wrong, it's just good for me. Appcelerator is good for me right now, so that's what I use. As was mentioned earlier, mobile web is coming. Appcelerator has a beta, I'm about to say the bad word too, BlackBerry. Appcelerator has a beta release of BlackBerry SDK that is about to go Golden Master, hopefully at the end of this month. And so, the same JavaScript code, separate for the user interface elements. The same basic code should work across Android, iOS, and BlackBerry. They also have what they're calling a web SDK. I guess since it's the thing that most people know, I'll say it's very similar to PhoneGap functionality. So you write using JavaScript and the Appcelerator API, your same JavaScript code that can be compiled to run on Android, compiled to run on iOS, compiled to run on BlackBerry. Now it can also just run basic in a web container on your mobile device. In the end, the argument's the same. If you need to go native, you can go native. There's you can write extensions for Appcelerator. I've actually written a few. Usually when I end up writing an extension is when the framework just hasn't caught up with the latest release of the SDK, and there's some additional functionality that I need. So I just write some Objective-C, wrap it up in a container, drop it in the app, and go. You can do the same thing on Android also. I covered most of this already, the cross-platform stuff. This goes back to kind of the special sauce of how it runs, where it's just compiled, all packaged up. It says there the JavaScript is compiled in bytecode on Android. So it's not like someone's going to take your application and open up and they're going to say, oh, here's all your JavaScript code hidden in there. It's not like that. Okay. Documentation. I'll be honest with you. The documentation is okay. As you can tell, I don't work for them. It's okay. You can go to the website. There's they have all the API calls listed, kind of the standard way that everybody does. But there's bugs and there's errors in it. They do try their best. They have an active community, and also on Twitter, if you tweet about things, someone will respond. They've actually hired people that do nothing but respond to, honestly, people bitching about the platform on Twitter. And so what you'll see is, I met some of the guys and I've spoken to them. The developer relations manager, you will even see him get out there and he will say, hey, send us an email if there's a question, send us a problem, just to try to keep the noise down, just keep things moving. They've also hired, this is the documentation. They also have a community, a Q&A community forum that is run by the community. Basically what that means is there are no employees whose full-time job it is to go through the threads and answer questions. It's just people who use the platform. I'm one of them. I spend a fair amount of time in there answering questions. I do it mostly because I learn about the platform. Since I'm writing the book, by seeing the type of questions that people are asking, it helps me to understand better what to put in my book. But periodically, some employees will go in there and answer some questions for you, but it's a very good way to get feedback. If you're starting out with the platform, there's two things you want to do. You definitely want to go into the Q&A forum and search and see if someone's had the problem before. And the other thing is you want to look at, once again, this is my presentation, I apologize. You want to look at something called Kitchen Sink.